I thought I'd show you guys something different. Making a mold using alginate. Casting our hand right now. Nice cold alginate.
Honey, it's okay.
I'll show you what we're up to.
Don't be scared.
A little bit.
Don't be scared, sweetie. Hi. Hi, baby.
And just in case any of you guys are interested in trying to do this yourself, it was a kit that found at Michael's craft store, if you have one near you. And it's actually for casting babies' hands and feet, and then you can put it on a plaque and whatnot. It doesn't come with a plaque, but you can get all that there. The kit was about somewhere between $25–30 for the kit, and it comes with 2 packages of the alginate, and they call it something different in here, but that's what it is. And then it comes with the plaster to cast it with, and they even called the plaster something different, just so people didn't know what it was. But yeah, I'll show you the mold turns out as soon as we get it off her. I don't know if you can see this on the camera. This is actually pink right now. Try to find some lighting to show you. And there we go. Alright, so the alginate's pink, and it's only supposed to take a minute, and it'll start to turn white. And once it's white, then it's set up, and then you're supposed to leave it for another minute before you take the baby's hand out of it. See that little the light coming through? Shouldn't be a problem as long as it stays in the bag. Well, I got the mold filled full of plaster. There's a little trick to pouring the plaster into it. I'll show you or try to explain it once I can let this down. I gotta hang on to it until the plaster starts setting up, because of that thin spot in the bottom. That way the plaster's not going to run out of it, or any air bubbles are going to go up through it. Yeah, I'll try and explain it to you now. When I was filling the mold full of plaster, right, so you got the baby's hand in there. Well, the alginate was actually cold, so the baby's hand's going to clench up. So you got the baby's fingers up like this. Well, if you just take and fill the mold full of plaster, the plaster's not gonna fill up the fingertips. It's where you just pour a little bit of plaster in. You have to tip the mold and just tap it and shake it back and forth. Once you shake it back and forth, the air bubbles should come out of the fingertips in full plaster. You just work at it like you got 10–15 minutes before the plaster fully sets up. So you got some time to work with it to try to get all the air bubbles out of the fingertips. It's the same with pouring concrete or large molds full of plaster. You need to get all the little fingertips or any little undercuts that are going to hold air bubbles. You're going to have to tap it, shake it, do whatever you can to try to get the air bubbles out. Alright, so I let the foot and hand sit overnight. Probably close to 24 hours now. I just want to make sure it's good and set up, because I don't know where the toes or the fingers are in the mold, and just want to make sure the plaster was good and strong on it. But I'm just going to slowly pick at this, and probably use an X-Acto knife to try not to break any of the toes or fingers off. Alright, so I got about half the foot out, and it's got every little single wrinkle, every little possible detail you could want. Stuff worked really good. I don't know if it was just the plastic bag I kind of touched here. A couple little spots you gotta touch up, not too bad. I'm just taking my time. Instructions say pull it right out, and that's how you break stuff. And so I'm just kind of, you can pull it back, right? It's just like a rubber without touching it, and then I'll just take my X-Acto and slowly cut a little piece away at a time, rather than break anything. Alright, just to show you guys, when it comes down to the toes, you gotta take your time. It's locked in there, so I'm slowly cutting little piece by little piece away. That way you're not gonna break nothing. If you break a toe off, you're gonna try and patch it later on. No matter what you're gonna do, you're gonna be able to see the break line. one little air bubble on the top that can just be fixed later on. Alright, got everything out except for little tiny pieces in between the toes. It's just gonna take some fine little work and slowly try to pick that out without scratching the plaster. Deformed I had a thin spot in the mold. Was trying not to let the plaster out, so I had my finger over it so it kind of smushed the toe. I'm just gonna try and build that up, and everything else turned out perfect. As you can see, add the slightest little detail in it. Every little wrinkle, toenails. So I'm going to leave this one for now and work on the hand, which I expect to be a lot harder. Yeah, this is how we let them both sit overnight. Still in the plastic bag. That way the alginate's not drying out. But I left the top open so the moisture from the plaster of Paris could somewhat cure. Alright, I'm still working on the hand. I had a feeling it would be a lot harder to do the hand than the foot, and I was right. If you do this, I would definitely take reference to where the palm of the hand would be. That way you have an idea where you can start cutting and where you can't start cutting. I had absolutely no idea the orientation of the fingers in here, so it just took that much more time to be able to slowly cut everything away. There's the finished hand. I ended up had a couple air bubbles and I lost 2 of the fingers. I thought I had all the air bubbles out. There was no other air bubbles in the whole thing. So I did save what pieces of the mold that the fingers came out of, and might try just putting a little plaster in them to get the fingernails and that and resculpting it. If not, I found some Alginate on eBay for about 10 bucks and might order it for a 1 pound bag. I might do some more browsing around from the companies I order my latex from too. I might be able to get it from them a lot cheaper. And I think Michael's does sell just the Alginate by itself, but they don't call it that. I think it's like Precious something or other, all from the same line. But I'm still amazed at the detail. So the foot and the hand. And both of them will probably put on a plaque. Side by side. Nice little keepsake. And a little better than just saving your footprint. Or your fingerprints and whatnot from being a baby. But alright, I thought you guys would be interested in that. Still might try it again. But I got some other ideas for the Alginate for doing some casts.